Hey, this is Mike, Old Religion Dystopia 2. It's a YouTube channel. And as usual, excuse me, I am the day late with things. And yesterday, that would be the 20th of October, would it be the 55th anniversary of the Patterson film. And so we're going to listen to M.K. Davis as he talks about it and just remember what happened 55 years ago. Thanks.
Hey, it's me. Today is October the 20th. And what is that? Well, it's nothing to most people. But to Bigfooters, it's the day that they kind of hold sacred. The day, allegedly, that the Patterson Bigfoot film was taken. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that that was not so. But hey, you gotta pick a day anyway. So we'll go along with October the 20th. I don't know if you noticed the little places on me. I've been using my head for a battering ram against furniture. Furniture 1. Let's turn around here and I'll just go over a few things. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll just skip through some things. You see I got a lot of stuff on it. This ain't near about all of it, but we'll just look at it and talk about it a little bit. Frames from the film. And here's a kind of a fun one right here. Patti shaved. And even it's got a lot of different stuff on here. Let's just skip through it. That's one of those really good images. That's what kind of set me off on my journey. That right there is a superb quality. It's filtered, but good stuff. That's a blink between two versions of it. Hancock 350. It won't show a TIFF unless you take it to a program that's made for that. TIFF means tagged image format. It's uncompressed. It's a really large file. See how blue that is? That's from Chrome prints made off the original. And it's blue. And I have my theory. I think that it was tilted blue in order to prevent the skin from being prominent. You see, it kind of makes everything kind of homogeneous. Now there, I tried diminishing the hair in this area right here. I just circle that, and you see the hair is still there, but it's diminished. There's the ear. There's the raw file. You can see it in the raw file. There it is, right here. And there it is, enhanced. What does that tell you? It's got kind of a round earlobe. That little fat thing is quite a bit around here. It's not hanging down real low. A little different, but there's people who have that. So you'd have to look up statistics and how many people, how common is it. Here's where I diminish some more of it. And I just call this Patti shaved. Just not really shaved. I didn't cut any hair off of her. I just diminished the hair. It's an attempt to get an idea of what she would look like, and sometimes you can. She looks like she could go to school with somebody, don't you? I mean, look at that. It's a TF image. And that runs out of that. That's what I made the blankets out of. It's a superb quality. There's the blanket. I think I need to do a little more to it. I need to brighten it just a little bit. When they printed it, it was mostly red filtered, and I wanted to get more natural look. So I added a little bit of blue to counter the red, and then when you did that, it darkened. Red is brighter, and so to get it back to where it was, I need to brighten it just slightly, and I will eventually. Some of the best stuff from that film. And today we're featuring the film. And ears and head, body and legs. You can see all this. Toes turned downward, foot flex, toes up, braid walk. Let's see, foot flex. Look at that.
M.K. Davis, Patterson film clip. Foot flex, the right foot flexing. Toes turned up.
Transition frames, a lot of work. Look at all those transition frames. I'm steady turning them. Look. But from that, you get real good results. And I just click on this and go forward. And I don't know if I got time to explain everything or chat about everything, but well, that's a good one there, frame 350. I guess I was concentrating on that stump. See the head moving, neck turning. This is frame 353. Very few people ever get to look at 353. It was actually listed as 352, but it's wrong. It's 353. You can see that the hand opens up and you can see the fingers right there. That's the thumb. 353, and this is from Argosy magazine, and Argosy had the negatives from the original film, and they went out of business, and no one knows what happened to those negatives. Well, that's pretty impressive right there. swinging of the arm, rotating of the ball and socket. Claims were made that she was wearing a suit with a football pads underneath. Now, I don't think they would have ever made the claim had they seen good stuff. There's plenty there to counter it. That's something she's carrying in her left hand. See it right there? This is in the early part of the filming, when everything was violent and shaky and dark. Now you can see it pretty good right in there. See it? See, it moves with her. There you go. There's a bigger version of it. There it is right there. I don't know what it is exactly. It kind of favors what you call an atlatl or a throwing stick. But it's not as clear as it needs to be to get a positive idea on it. But it looks like there's a hook to it. That's what a throwing stick would have, would be a hook. They hook an atlatl dart. There's a colorized one. You see, that looks pretty good. It looks a lot like a throwing stick. There it is again, in another place. See it right there. There's a bear behind. You've heard people tell, when I first came into this field, people said, give up, everything's been done that can be done. And one of the big objections was that it did not have glutes. It had what appeared to be a solid pillow. And they said that's just a suit with a big old padding in the back. But you can see that's not the case. There's a human being with a similar coverage of hair, and it creates this line up the spine as these muscles dive off into the spine here. They create that darker area, and you see it throughout the film. There it is right there. There it is right there. It's just way off in the distance. You can still see it. There it is right there. There it is, pretty good right there. It just is what it is. There we go. Very similar. You see muscles in this one. See right there? See the muscles moving? Up and down the back. He's dragging his foot. The foot is dragging over that stick. There's a stick laying right here. let it start over. Or maybe I need to start it over. There we go. See him dragging it? There's the bloody red hole. And there's some more red stuff out here on the sandbar. Kind of spattered. Right there's some more right in here. I had to go in the other room. Then disconnect and reconnect. It's kind of funny because my Wi-Fi modem is actually in here in the man cave. Hey, you would think it would get really good. Anyway, back to this, and I hope you got some of that. There's some of it right here. That's on kind of a blue sand, a shale sand. There's more of it. All this right here is material, red stuff, that's been drug out of this hole here. And, you know, when you see the red dog print, you can see why, because this stuff's all over the place. Anyway, I won't harp on that too much. This is the one day that people are looking at this film and trying to make up their mind whether they believe it or not. I don't even know what that was. It's a little discharge seen across the cheek coming out of the eye. The eye is right here. And it goes down like this. Kind of a crusty discharge. Oh, there's our favorite dog. He was involved in it, but like I said, we won't go into that right now. But it's in this. I'm just clicking one to the other. That's a ballpoint pen mark on frame 352. Okay. That's Bob Gimlin. He's on a road in Bluff Creek, which I know he has said more than once that you had to fly equipment in there by helicopter. But, you know, that's just not the case. And why he said that, only he knows. But this stuff right here has lime mixed with it, quick lime, and it is so hard you can look at the truck tracks. That's big log trucks. Come down in and get that stuff. There's one of those Chrome prints. This right here has been, some artistic work has been done to it while it was a Chrome print. This is the original I got from Miss Patterson. There are no fingers curl back like that. See those fingers? They're not. The fingers are actually right here, and this is the fingernails right here. They're just like a fist. Somebody did that for what reason, I don't know. I can speculate, but that's just speculation. Now this is a good one. That's the breast. This would be the left breast. This is reversed. You see them shaking. And that's what the two men described. They were pendulous breasts. They swing with the steps. And you can see that is true, and the film shows that. There's a bigger, see it? Clearly a female, and that's clearly real. Here's several frames that show them bouncing around. This enhanced. Here's a cable, logging cable, sticking out of the sand at the Patterson film site. There was a lot of logging cables sticking out of the sand, and there were some really large ones. The ones that they used to lift a whole entire load of logs and set it down on the truck in one piece. That's sticking out of that sand. You got to break those cables. There's the croucher, which this thing right here is in the way. There it is. There he is right there. I'm not going to go into that because this is not really about that. That's film debris. This is an enhancement that's done slowly, so you can see the teeth right in here. And they're crooked. Pretty severely crooked. It's probably got a bit of a cleft palate. It very much favors that. There's that cable again. This right here is a little separate item right here on the side of the right breast, which I don't know what it is exactly, but there's some medical terms for it. There's the ear, and I compared the ear to Bob Hieronymus, a guy claiming to be the man in the suit. You see he has a drop-down earlobe right there. And there's no drop-down earlobe on this. And his ear, he said he had a football helmet on. It was up inside of there. Very clearly that's not the case. Look at that. Okay. That right there is Al Hodson's son. I think his name's Mark. Maybe Mike, but I think it's Mark. They're at the film site. You see that same cable that Don Monroe we were looking at a few frames back. Look at that. There it is. You see that the logging company is putting a ribbon around this log, and they're going to get that log, get it out of there. So that log is not there. But that piece of cable is. That's a broken piece of cable. This is a logger's landing. There's lots of cable out here. This is where they pull those trucks down in there. I'll go back to it again. There, look. See, that's that same cable. Same spot on that sandbar. That's Don Monroe. That's why I was talking about Don Monroe. All right. That's an aerial view taken 4 years later. This is, you can still see this log has not been recovered at that time. And there's the where the lime pile was. And there's where that hole was. No, it's right here. There's where the red hole was. Of course, it's gone now in this picture. This is a bigger view of it. You can see that same lime pile. They put a square there to mark where Patterson was. He's looking back here, and there's Renee DeHenden walking it. That's that pile of logs that had the red hole. The red hole would be right here, but it's gone. And the first walk sequence, it walked this way and ended. Second walk sequence begins with it walking this way. So, two different walk sequences. This right here is some platinum images that were being distributed, and obviously somebody's been messing with red ink, because you can see their palm print and their fingerprints. And I think they were trying to tint these old dead leaves red for fall color purposes. And these are all tinted with ink. they were pretty sloppy. Got it all over the subject. This was probably something they hid in a drawer afterwards. There's even some down here. See where they tried to do it? Trying to see what I can see. See this? There it is. Early walk. That's hard. These are some efforts I use to use computer for stabilization. Sometimes the computer has problems with it. It can't lock on to any particular thing. Here's contour analysis of the foot bottom as using exposure levels, showing the shape of the bottom of the foot is not a plank. It's pretty much the shape of our feet on the bottom. Here's what looks like a scar, or an old scar right across the forehead. There's the eye right there. See it? That's the eye right there. This right here is film debris. And a lot of people were saying this was the glint of the eye. No. Eye is much wider apart than that. There they are. Okie dokie. I did this one. People have taken this thing and messed with it. Somebody got it and erased Patti right here and just let this one do the walking and claimed that they did the work. But it stops and starts exactly where mine does. And I chose that arbitrarily. So, where to start, which frame to start with, and which one to end with. And so, it's not any way anybody could claim that, but they try. It's unethical to do that. My work is my work. If you want to use it, but you give credit where it's due. There we go. There we go. There's my son Brian standing beside this big one. We used to get arguments about You can't enlarge it past a certain point. And so I just did it. And there's, nobody argued with it afterwards. Hey, stop that. Cat. Here are some legal documents for the sale of the film to Renee DeHenden. Some statements made right after the filming. Okay, I said, tell me this, Roger. The hunting season was on, was it? You're darn shooting right it was, Bob Gimlin chimed in. And out that way, anything moving with fur on it's liable to get shot. On we go. Rear end, that's the glutes. You can see the cleavage there in the glutes. This is 3 different frames. It's in the early part of the filming. It was always there. Why was that an argument? I don't know. Here's some more. No, the film can't be real. That's a pillow. That's what they said. Real good image of the foot with all the toes showing. Foot bottom. The hands are curved. They're curved. That's an early hominid characteristic. Look up Homo naledi. Neledi. And they'll talk about that. They're they found 15 specimens. They all had curved fingers. Except they're about 1 million years old. No, I take that back. They're not quite that old. They're probably like 300,000 years old. Here's some of those from the early part of the film. Really good images. Look at this right here. See the tendons. See the 2 tendons right there? See that big old muscle right there, calf muscle? All right. Making that turn toward the camera. Look at that. What a face. See that eye up in there? Up under that brow. You tell me why people said this film was a bad film. You can see muscles right there, the leg muscles. See right there, that muscle moving, going up there. It's all tensed up. There's more. 350. What a great frame. A lot of sticks and stuff stacked up against this stump. I got the sandbar properly exposed, but it makes a silhouette of Patty. But you can see a lot. There's that stick that she drug her foot on. It's got sand on it. You can make out a few footprints. There's one right there. But they're not easily seen. There's the handprint. There's another one right here that's dimmer. See right here the fingers. Much larger. Not the same individual. It's that leg buckling inward. Immediately after you see the bulge in the leg buckles inward with the knee going to the inside. And then there's a recovery, and she's gone. It's when she bent over in the first walk sequence. I just loop it back and forth. You can see she's bent over. There's the head. That's the hand opening and closing. That's 352 and 353. There you go. There it is again. How about that? Just what would you expect? There's the bulge in the leg sped up. The frames that show it, you see it's kind of got a little shock to it. There it is, freeze frame. You can see it's got a little split in the skin in that bulge right there. And then the knee buckles inward, and then she turns around and is gone. And I don't like to spend too much time on it, but you can see it right there, this little round hole, and the hair's blown back. That's the bulge right there. Right as it begins. There it is, the next frame. There's the bare spot where that lime pile was. And nothing grows there because it's an acidic forest. It ruined Bluff Creek, didn't it? There was no more salmon in Bluff Creek. It ruined their ability to come in out of the sea and find their old place. That lime all in that water. People just didn't care back in those days. Uh-oh, that's Miss Patterson. Oh well. I covered her up on that one. Should have shown that one first. That's Roger Patterson's little sculpture he did in clay. And that's, you know who that is. There I am at Bluff Creek in June. See my shadow? See Patty's shadow? Not too much difference. There's that little old red pool reflection in that little black cape. And there's your gun. Wearing a logging uniform. He's not. He's the dog trainer. He is. He's wearing a logger's uniform. Al Hodson. We won't listen to any of that. There's her walking and talking, I call it. See all the lips moving. Big girl. See, there's that thing in the left hand again. Look at the size of it. Now, that may not be the same thing. I don't know. The first walk sequence, we saw that one that looked like a throwing stick. Well, this is something. It could be different, but it's something in their left hand. Try it again. There it is. It's got that lanyard tied to it, see? Whatever it is. That's the Patterson film site. This was taken by Peter Guttella in 1980. Coming at it from downstream. This is the same place in 2005, I believe. I took this photo. Peter Guttella went every year, sometimes twice a year, to the Patterson film site. He went with Rene DeHenden. You see, it's the same place. It's even the same bushes. Right there, right there. Some of the big dead trees fell. $3D. Interesting. This is where I diminish it. See it? Diminish the hair on the shoulder there. Make this. There I am doing it. That's just showing the leg kick, that people do kick their leg back and walk and run. They run in a straight line. Bigfoot has they say has straight line tracks. Well, people do too if they're trotting or running, which leads me to believe that this is in some way, in some form, due to the huge mass, actually a trotting gait. So did she run? Yeah, probably. This probably is what you see. But not with a lot of speed. It's mass and carry through. I mean, just look at her. There's that eye pretty good in that filtered image. That's kind of a little artist drawing that I drew. Kind of what I see. No guarantee to be perfect. There you see that muscle again in that leg. The hair is very thin right here because it's been raked away by this thumb as it passes by. And you can actually see the muscles. Oh, go back one. And you can see them real good right in there. See right in there? All right. That's the Argosy magazine image. Very high quality. It's a map drawn by Richard Henry in November of his trip in November of '67. And he showed where they parked their car right next to the tracks. We parked here. Plaster cast taken. See right there? You could drive your vehicle back there because they had those wonderful roads that were packed with that lime. Tracks start on opposite of creek. There's a makeshift corral, and it had fresh hay in it. See, there's a corral. Hay for horses. Well, there's lots of reasons not to believe the Patterson film because of the storyline and everything. But, and it's provably, demonstrably, provably untrue. But there's only one thing in the way of that, and that's the film. And the film is clearly real. So, that's all you can say. Great film, terrible story. Anybody that looks into it, people have, from the get-go, from the very beginning, looked into this and raised objections. And should have been listened to. But the first thing people think of when there's something wrong with your story is that you've hoaxed the film. And once you get a good look at the real good copy of it, it will withstand that. They need to come around with the right story. And they know it. There are people who know it. Come up with the right story. That explains this. All right. I'm going to have to go. I got it. miles to go before I sleep. But I enjoyed this. I thank you. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope it was educational. And this is a very complex film, very complex story. It is as real as you and me. All right. You folks have a great day. I had plenty more, but can't get to it right now. See you folks.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind.
If you don't know, you should take